Let's talk a little bit about box plots today. We've already learned how to find the interquartile range, and that will be important while we're learning to do box plots. So let's begin by finding our 5-number summary, and it will begin with putting the data in order from least to greatest. Do this with me in your journal. Be sure to write down the numbers as they are, and then write them in order from least to greatest. Now we can begin finding the minimum and the maximum. And of course we know that the minimum value is the smallest value. The maximum value, or upper extreme is what we called it, and lower extreme, but the upper extreme is 25, the biggest value. Now let's find the median of the data set. We have an even number, so there are 2 numbers in the middle. The middle of the data set would be 5.5. That's one that you can do in your head. So 5.5. Now that we have the median, we need to find the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half. So we would do that the same way. Mark off to get in the middle. The median of the lower half, or the lower quartile or first quartile, is 2. The median of the upper half, or the third quartile or upper quartile, is 12. Now begin plotting each of the 5-number summary. So we know the minimum is 0, so we're going to plot a 0. Now we'll plot a 2 for the lower quartile. We'll plot a 5.5 for the median, and a 12 for the upper quartile, and a 25 for the upper extreme. Now we will draw a box around the middle 3 dots, which is our interquartile range. It goes from the lower quartile to the upper quartile, and we'll place a line right on the median through the median inside the box. Now the last step is to put our whiskers on. They're sometimes called box and whisker plots. So we have drawn a line from the minimum value, or the lower extreme, to the lower quartile. Now we have drawn a line from the third quartile to the upper extreme, or to the maximum number. So let's think, are there any outliers in this set of data? We can tell by the whisker that the outlier would be 25. Since it has an outlier, is it skewed? Yes. Skewed right or left? Right. Is it symmetrical? No. This is called a box plot. It used to be called a box and whisker plot a while back, but it kind of looks like it has whiskers on it. What is the interquartile range? Remember, the interquartile range is from the third quartile, or take the third quartile and subtract the first quartile. If you take that value 12 minus 2, our interquartile range is 10. Now let's try another one. The first thing that we need to do is put the numbers in order. Okay, now my numbers are in order, and I'm just going to double check and make sure that I have the same amount of numbers here and here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 8, 9, 10. I do. Now for the easies, let's find the minimum value, or we call it the lower extreme, and the maximum value or upper extreme, and now the median. So I've got two numbers in the middle. I would add 13 plus 16, I get 29. I divide 29 by 2. And my median is 14.5. Now that I know my median, I need to find the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half, which is called the first quartile and the third quartile, or lower quartile and upper quartile. So I'm going to mark off again. There's one clearly in the middle. My lower quartile is 5. My upper quartile is 22. Now I want you to draw this box plot with me so that you have practice. Okay, I'm going to put my dots over the minimum value, which is 2, the lower quartile, which is 5, the median, which is 14.5, somewhere in the middle there. Upper quartile is 22 and 25. I have my dots in place from my 5-number summary. Now I need to draw a box from the lower quartile to the upper quartile, which is also known as the interquartile range. I'm going to draw a line through my median to the edges of the box, the top and bottom edges. Now I need to add my whiskers, or a line from the minimum to the lower quartile, and also a line from the upper quartile to the maximum. Now we have drawn a box and whisker plot using the 5-number summary, finding the minimum, the maximum, the lower quartile, upper quartile, and median. As you can see, there are some different names for each of the parts, but they all kind of make sense. Is this one symmetrical? No. Are there any outliers? No. So we are done.